Oh yeah, nah. Mate.
Holy Keint!
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the second episode of the new series, how to start your own brand. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking to you guys about branding. So let's go. So branding is probably one of the most important and crucial things you're going to have to consider when starting a clothing brand or small business. What branding does is it allows customers to identify your products without having to go and look at them. They can just see someone wearing your product, walk past them on the street or in the shopping center or whatever, and they recognize that brand and they know that it's yours. So if we look at some of the most influential brands in the world, so it's going to take Nike for example. So if you see a Nike swoosh on a jacket, then you know it's really iconic, their logo. The word Nike, it's so iconic. That specific font, that italic bold font that they have, people can identify that from a mile away and know that it's Nike and that it's high quality. And that's essentially what you want to achieve. You want to have a brand or a business that people can see your logo or its name or its aesthetic, and they immediately identify or associate that with your brand. So today I'm basically going to explain things you need to consider when starting your own clothing line in terms of branding so that you can make an identifiable product for your clothing line. So the first one is logo. So we touched on this briefly in the last episode. You don't need to have a logo, but you do need to have something that makes your brand identifiable and that sort of be the flagship design for your brand. So if you look at Nike, for instance, yes, they have the swoosh, which is their iconic logo, but some of their products just simply say Nike on them. So if you want to make a logo, I strongly advise you to. I didn't have a logo for a few months, but then I did eventually create my own one. Yeah, because eventually you get to the point where your brand is well known that you can just put your logo on things. You don't have to have the name of your brand. The next thing you need to consider is your brand's aesthetic. Most of you guys will be familiar with what aesthetic means. What it basically entails in terms of a clothing brand is fonts and color schemes. So for Ooly Keint, my color scheme is mainly black and white. I just didn't really want to get mixed up in too many different colors. I just wanted to keep it very simple. And black and white, man, they're like two of the most versatile colors. People rock white, people rock black. You can wear it with anything. Black looks great on white and white looks great on black. It just works really well. It's so simple and I really like it personally. So this aesthetic is obviously present in my logo and my branding. My Instagram is quite black and white in terms of the icons which I have on it. My logos are black and white. All my text is black and white. And this consistency of using these same color schemes, that's really what allows consumers to identify those colors with your brand. So the other thing you need to consider is your text. So if you're going to have a worded brand, so let's take Ooly Keint for instance. So yes, I have a logo, but many of my products feature Ooly Keint, which is the name of my brand, on the piece. I have a very specific text which I use, which is a typewriter font. Very basic, very simple. But I really like the typewriter font. I think it's very cool. I was actually inspired by the Supreme website. All of the text in their website is typewriter font. And I saw that when I was sort of starting out Ooly Keint, and I was like, yo, that's really cool. That's what I've adopted for my brand, but obviously many others like Supreme and Nike and all those brands use very basic fonts, but it's become an iconic part of their branding and their image. While we're touching on social media, you should also tie in your branding into your social media content. So if you've noticed, many of the memes which I post on my page, which I make, I actually have my branding at the end of those memes. And this is specifically because when my memes get shared on people's stories or they send them to their friends, when their friends or the people who view those memes see them right to the end, they see my branding at the end. It imprints in their mind. They know who made the meme, they know who posted it, etc, etc. So because a lot of the times when we see cool memes, we don't actually go and look at the page. It's just a meme. If a brand posted that meme, then they're not actually going to get seen. Whereas with the memes that I create, I actually have my branding at the end, so they're guaranteed to see it. And especially when it's a nice, short, sharp, and attractive meme, such as a couple of the football ones I post, they replay automatically. So if they want to keep watching, they're going to keep seeing my branding again and again and again and again. I think that's a really good way to do branding with your social media content, especially if one of those memes gets particularly popular or eventually viral or something like that, because you never know when that sort of stuff's going to happen. So it's always good to be prepared for that. The next thing you need to consider is labels. Labels are super important. I think so many new brands really sleep on this. I know I did. I think they're one of the most powerful tools in branding. A shirt that has branding increases its value significantly, especially when that brand's popular. So say you've got a plain dress shirt over here, right? It looks pretty nice, but you haven't seen the labels yet, right? Probably gonna wanna pay about 10 bucks maybe. Next minute, you pull down the thing, it says the label, Tommy Hilfiger. Well, now its value has significantly increased. Not only its monetary value, but in your mind, your perception of that product has instantly become better. You think it's now a high quality product. You'd rather wear it out, even though no one else is going to see that branding because it's on the back of their neck. But you're going to have more confidence in wearing that because you know it's Tommy Hilfiger, not it's some $5 shirt from Keint or something. You know what I mean? So this is the same with any other brand. Like, why would someone pay $2,000 for a fucking Gucci sweater or some shit like that? It's just got some stupid woven fucking gammon looking fucking shit design on it, right? It's because it's Gucci, man. That's the brand. They pay for the brand. They don't pay for what it is. Like, if you look at brands starting out in Australia, the majority of them are all going to be AS Color because AS Color is affordable and it's really high quality. They're all the same shirts and they're all the same products, yet what goes on those shirts in terms of the brand itself is what's going to determine the value. And that's the power of branding. And if you're considering starting your own clothing brand, I really need you to sit down and think this out. So right now, these are the labels I've got, which are from Wonder Label in Australia. These are woven cotton labels. I highly recommend Wonder Label because the first labels that I got, they were actually printed labels. They've obviously been dyed or printed on top of the label. Whereas these ones, it's been woven into the label itself. It's not going to wash out. It's not going to wear out over time. These are unbelievable. Like, these are such good labels. And yes, these labels are going to set you back a few $100s, okay? Like, I think I bought like 500 of these and like 300 of these or something like that. I don't even know how many I've got. I've got a lot, okay? But you buy more and the price goes down. So it might cost around $1.20 per label when you're buying 100, but as once you buy 300, well, now they're down to 70 cents per label, and that's much more affordable and it's going to last you longer. Just got to make sure you get the designs and the branding and the color scheme right the first time, because otherwise you're going to be stuck with 300 or 400 labels that you're not going to use or you don't want anymore. Okay, so get that right before you do it. I'm super happy with these labels. Okay, and for those of you who do want to start your own brand, take the time and the money to invest in labels first, because you want your clothing to be branded. You want your clothing to be professional, because when someone buys a product or a t-shirt or whatever from you and it's branded with your own label, with a good woven label like this, a professional label like this, their perception of your brand immediately gets better. It's better because, damn, this is actually this is a branded product. This is a real brand. It's not just a t-shirt with a fucking printed label on it. That's what we sort of need to stop thinking about when we're going to create our brands, because when I created mine, I was like, yeah, I was fucking whack, Ooly Keint, and everyone's gonna love it, just mad or whatever. But that's not what you want to do, okay? You want to keep it as a brand. It's going to be a brand. So seriously, if you're going to start a clothing line, take these considerations, invest in labels, get a logo, choose an aesthetic, choose your color scheme. This is a huge part of creating a successful brand, okay? Is your branding, of course, because your branding is ultimately going to determine the value of your products. How much does a t-shirt from Target cost compared to a t-shirt from Versace? Or a t-shirt from Nike, you know what I mean? Why are Nike football boots worth more than X-Blades? Let's go X-Blades. If you wear X-Blades, you're a fucking OG, honestly. Like, you're a beast if you wear fucking X-Blades. So if you're considering starting a clothing brand, take the time, invest the money, get yourself labels, get a color scheme, get a logo, get an aesthetic, and then you're all good to go for the third step, which we will talk about next week. Let's go, Ooly Keint.